I'd been visiting other towns, particularly Bury St Edmunds, and I looked around. I had a guided tour there, and they showed me blue plaques there. And I thought, why hasn't Bishop Stortford got any blue plaques? We've got plenty of people who've been, important in the town, and for some reason, we have no official blue plaques.
This episode is brought to you by True Tone Media. If talking about your business on camera feels awkward, unnatural, or cringe, that's exactly why I created True Tone Media. I help business owners create natural, trust-building video content through relaxed conversations, not forced performances. If you want to find out more, head to the link in the show notes and check my availability for a chat. Okay, back to the show. Welcome to the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast, the show where we shine a light on the incredible businesses, community leaders and local legends shaping our town. I'm your host, James O'Donnell, and today we are joined by Rob Francis. Rob, great to have you on the show.
It's great to be here. Thank you for inviting me, James.
Not a problem. Not a problem at all, Rob. For those of us who don't know you yet, who are you and what do you do here in Bishop Stortford?
Well, I've been here for over 40 years, but at the moment I'm part of the Bishop Stortford History Society. I'm vice chair and treasurer, and we put on talks each month, the third Thursday of the month, and we have over 100 members at the moment. So we've done very well this year. We're pretty popular.
Fantastic. And I see that the main reason I'd reached out to you is because of the Blue Plaque initiative. Can you talk me through that?
Yes, I can. I'm going to take credit for initiating the project. I'm not chair of the History Society. We have an excellent chair, Tim Howard-Smith, and he's been a major contributor to this project. It was a end of 23, and I'd been visiting other towns, particularly Bury St Edmunds, and I looked around. I had a guided tour there, and they showed me blue plaques there, and I thought, why hasn't Bishop Stortford got any blue plaques? We've got plenty of people who've been, important in the town, and for some reason, we have no official blue plaques. There is one dedicated to Michael Herford, who did contribute a lot to the town, but that was put up by his family. That's in Water Lane. So I thought, I suggested to the History Society, let's take the lead on this and set up a project to do this. So they agreed, and we set up a team, and we were joined by the Town Council, the Bishop Stortford Town Council in the person of Sim Richardson, and the Civic Federation in the person of Marie Rhodes, and also the museum. Chris Connell joined us from the museum. So we had the team. We had a lot of help from Heritage England. We have someone in the town called Emily Cole, Dr. Emily Cole, and she provided a lot of advice, and there's a fantastic online publication that they have produced, which has been very, very helpful to us. We knew what we had to do, but we needed some funds. So we'd agreed to put up £500 ourselves, and the Civic Federation contributed 500, but that was way short of what we needed. So we went to the Brazier Trust, which many people haven't heard of, but which is run by the town council, and they have funds for projects to be run in the town. And we put in a bid, and they very kindly awarded us £3,000. So we were now set to go. The next thing was to decide exactly who we were going to commemorate. So we came up with our own ideas. We came up with probably 20 or 30 people who we reckoned had made a contribution to the town. But it was very important then to go out and get the views of the residents of the town. So we provided them with a list, a shorter list than that, and asked them to choose their top 5, I think it was. And we went through social media, and particularly Facebook. We went through the library, the town council website, and various other means. And we had a very, very good return. We were really pleased at the interest shown by the residents. And so we came up with 5 names, and that was the first sort of tranche, the first part of the project. And so last year, we were able to ask a manufacturer who happens to be in Whitby to manufacture 5 blue plaques for us. He's quite an interesting guy. I haven't got time to go into his details now, but I spoke to him on the phone a couple of times. You know, why should a guy in Whitby decide to manufacture blue plaques? Very interesting. Anyway, he did it to our specifications and they were delivered. And so we decided, although we put the date 2025 on the plaques because that's basically when the work was done and the plaques were manufactured, but we had to over the launch into this year. So in February we met up, and by chance there were 3 in Wind Hill. There's one at number 11, which is Sir Walter Gilby was born there. Everybody knows Gilby's gin, I think, but he was a very important guy in the town, not only very wealthy, but a philanthropist. He did a great deal for the town himself. So he was one guy. The next one in Wind Hill was Francis Barber, and his plaque is on it's called the Old Courtyard next to the town council offices. And he's a fascinating guy because he was brought over as a slave from Jamaica and was given his freedom. And somehow he became an assistant to Samuel Johnson, who's famous for creating the first English dictionary. Great lexicographer, great character. And he had quite an interesting household, Samuel Johnson. And part of it was this young guy from Jamaica. The link with Bishop Stortford was that Samuel Johnson wanted to make sure he was properly educated. So he sent him to the grammar school in Bishop Stortford, which at that time was located in that building, which was then called Wind Hill House and is now called the Old Courtyard, and a company called Dotmatics have that as their office. They've been very helpful. And he went to school there. And the third person was Mrs. Tresham Gilby, who by chance happened to be married to the third son of Sir Walter Gilby. And she was the first female magistrate in the town and did many good works in the town, but was obviously in the forefront of women becoming important people in the town, making decisions and so on. So we thought those are the first 3, and they were all in Wind Hill. So we organised a little launch party, and we brought along some descendants of the Gilbys. They came and were able to say a few words about their ancestor. Unfortunately, we couldn't bring a descendant of Francis Barber. There is a guy called Cedric Barber who has written about his whatever great-great-great-great grandfather, and it would have been lovely to have him there, but he couldn't make it. And so we had the press there. Indy provided their usual fantastic support. We had representatives from the King's Cottages, because in Stortford, I don't know whether you know those, they're along by the Bowls Club in South Street.
Opposite South Mills?
Yeah.
That kind of area.
Yeah. So Walter Gilby was, I think, with part of the family, he established those King's Cottages with some other benefactors as well. And one of his descendants, two of them, I think, are on the trust that still run the cottages and make the key decisions and so on. So it was great to have several representatives from King's Cottages. And the town council were there, the Civic Federation were there, and the various people who have contributed to the project. So it was a very satisfying experience. I thoroughly enjoyed it. As I said at the time, a History Society, as I see it, is about heritage. We give these talks every Thursday, every month on a Thursday evening, and they're very popular and they're very well attended, but they are by their nature ephemeral. And so we wanted some permanent memories to be created. hence some of our publications and the blue plaques, which are, I trust anyway, permanent memories of people who contributed in a whole lot of different ways to the town. And we've got two more to be one is installed in the Quaker burial ground on Newtown Road. That's Thomas Dimsdale. And we're waiting for the renovations on Jackson Square to be completed, because we have a plaque for Sir George Jackson, who is best known for making sure that the Stort Navigation came about, which revolutionized the town, made incredible differences to the people and the business in the town. And he's obviously remembered by Jackson Square. So we're waiting, probably next month, we'll be able to install that plaque. That'll be the first 5. And then we've got 5 more to agree upon and install later this year.
Fantastic. And do you have a long list for that? Are you going to go out to the public again and ask for their
I think
input?
we've got 5 names, but
Okay.
we'll perhaps check with the residents that they agree those names.
It's incredible that Bishop Stortford has such a rich history, and it sounds like this is a community podcast. The idea of this is to shine a light on community projects and businesses and community leaders and the work that they're doing in town. And it seems like this was going on for hundreds of years before where we are now, that there was a real strong community happening with people really investing in the town to try and make it a better place for people to live. It's fascinating to hear about it all.
Yes, and the Stort Navigation was key in that. Our chair, Tim Howard-Smith, has given talks on that topic, and I'm hoping he'll be able to write it up as a book at some point when other things are out of the way, because it is very, very interesting how the creation of the Stort Navigation brought a lot of families into the town. Quite often, and they became interrelated with each other. There's quite a lot of marriages within those families. And they were quite often Quakers and non-denominational people who came in. So they have very interesting history in themselves. And then they became the brewers and the maltsters and the retailers and so on, who grew on the back of the ability to easily transport goods to and from London.
It'd be great to try and feature more people from the Historical Society and for yourself as well, Rob, in the future, about all the different aspects that are going on in Bishop Stortford that maybe some of us don't know, and this could be a new medium for kind of sharing some of those ideas, particularly with the talks that you've got coming up.
Yeah, that would be great.
We can maybe have a conversation about that. If people are interested in finding out more about the Historical Society and about the talks you've got upcoming, and maybe even becoming a member, bearing in mind the amount of population growth we've had over the last few years, where's the best place for them to reach out and connect?
Yeah, that's the website. We have a very good website now. It's got a long name. It's, www.bishopstortfordhistorysociety.org.uk. If you do a search for Bishop Stortford history, you will come to our website. You'll probably also go to another website, which is produced by a guy called Paul Ailey, who's done a very good job some years ago, but the website's still there. He's not connected to us directly, but it is an interesting website, and that's worth looking at as well. Yeah, if you're watching or listening, come to our website. There are details there of our publications, of the talks program. We've got a talk tomorrow night, but actually it's going to be so popular that we've said members only or visitors by agreement, because we can only have about 100 or so in the hall. We're at St. Joseph's Hall in the Windhill Churches Centre, just off Windhill. And we're sort of victims of our own success at the moment. But most of the talks, it's quite easy to come along as a visitor, and you just pay £5, and we're free and easy like that. There's a couple of other talks in April and May, and then we have a break, and then we start again in September. But we'll produce a program which will be on the website and be in hard copy, available all over town, in the cafes, the library, the tourist office and so on. And that should be available in sort of late July, August, so people can check it out then.
Excellent. And do share it with me as well, so I can share it amongst the podcast community.
Okay, I will do that
as
yeah.
well. So if
Yeah,
anybody's
thank you.
interested, they
Thank
can
you.
come along. Not a problem at all, Rob. Thank you for shining a light on the work that you're doing there, Rob. It's really fascinating. It really is. Are you ready for some Stortford Spotlight questions now?
Yes,
Yeah,
tough ones.
Good. That's the aim. That's the aim. First question, quite pertinent. If you could put one sentence on a billboard in Jackson Square, what would it say, and who needs to hear it the most?
It would say, treat yourself. Say, treat yourself. And it would be aimed, I don't know whether this could go on the billboard, it would be aimed at the older section of the population, because I think that they deserve a treat, not just these 5 people who've contributed to the town. All sorts of people contribute to the town in many different ways. And I think they deserve a treat. Let them go into a cafe or a restaurant and have a cream tea or something nice.
Fantastic. It's something I used to say to my grandparents all the time. Make sure you get yourself a cream cake.
Yeah,
exactly. Treat yourself. That's Rob. That is absolutely fantastic. A really lovely billboard. I love the idea of that. Question 2. Where do you go in Stortford that you secretly hope never gets too popular?
Well, this is a bit of a cheat, but most mornings I walk into town, but I don't go directly into town. I go the long way round, and that is through the Firs. If you know the Firs, it's a sort of avenue of trees which was established by Sir Walter Gilby many years ago and is still there. It was supposed to be an avenue leading up to his house, up towards Thorley, I suppose. He never built the house in the end, but the avenue is there. And I really enjoy walking through there. It's alongside the churchyard. Yeah, the churchyard. And I actually enjoy walking through there as well. So I enjoy it. And there's lots of dog walkers that we meet when we go through there. I listen to the bird song, especially at this time of the year. Do you know Merlin, the app for identifying bird song?
No.
I recommend it to everybody. It's free. It's produced by an ornithological body whose name I forget, but it's brilliant. And you just install the app and switch it on, and it identifies all the birds singing away in the trees. It's brilliant. So that's very good.
Well, a great recommendation of the walk and also the app. That's a first for the podcast. Rob, thanks very much for that. I didn't realise that it was purposefully planted by Gilby as well. That's good local knowledge to have.
Well, there's an information board halfway along, which helps.
I've been too busy pushing buggies to stop, obviously. That's my problem. I must slow down, listen to the bird song and read the boards.
Slow down. That's good advice, yeah.
Good idea. Okay, last question. Who's doing something special in town that more people need to know about?
Well, I admire the people at Castle Park. You may have had them. If you haven't had them on this podcast, then you should. They've done a great job. They got a huge amount of money from the Heritage Lottery Fund to do new works around the Castle Park. But there's a group of volunteers who do a lot of work there, and I really admire them. They go out in all weathers and do good stuff. And I mean, not enough people go across the road. I know it's a bit of a barrier, that Causeway Road, but I advise people to go across the road, get into Castle Park, go to the Terrace Cafe, which is a great place, and sit there, listen to the bird song, look at the Castle Mound, climb up the Castle Mound, and enjoy the work that good people have done there.
It's one of the most common places where people secretly hope never gets too busy is Castle Park. I have yet to been able to figure out the right people to speak to at Castle Park to invite them on. So if you've got connections there, if you know who's running the show, please do share my details, because I would love to shine a light on the work that they're doing.
Good.
There's so many things that are going on there. I know at the moment there was a talk which would probably cross over with you about the archaeological dig that was there about a year ago. and the results of that. Yeah, there's this again. It could be a whole podcast just about
And
just focusing on Castle
our
Park.
talk tomorrow night is on the Saxon burial ground by the archaeologist from Mola who actually did the work. So that's why it's going to be very popular.
Fantastic. Well, yes, please connect me. I would love to
I'll
share their details on the podcast. That would be absolutely fantastic. Again, Rob, what's the website for anybody that's interested in connecting with the Historical Society?
Yeah, it's www.bishopstortfordhistorysociety.org.uk.
Excellent. Rob, I will feature that on the show notes for the podcast. So if anybody's listening to this and they want to reach out, they can do it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today on the Bishop Stortford Community Podcast.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, James.
Thank you, Rob. If you've enjoyed this episode, the best way to support the show is to hit follow, leave a quick review on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify, and share it on your socials, or maybe in someone in town who's not on social media that might be interested in the Bishop Stortford Historical Society. And if you've got a local legend, someone like Rob, who's instigated the blue plaque, started going up in Bishop Stortford, that you think we should feature on the show, drop their name in the comments below, and I can reach out to them and invite them on the podcast as well. Again, Rob, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
Great pleasure. Thanks, James. Thanks.
Thank you.